Hi and welcome. Welcome to 2024. My name is Lily and I am so overjoyed to have you here with me as we talk about our goals for 2024 and what we've learned from 2023. This is something that I like to do with my friends at the top of the new year, mostly because I am actually moving from one planner to a new one. So that's a chance for me to literally and figuratively leave behind the old and take with me what I want to take with me into the new year, what's fresh and what's meaningful to me. So you can do this at any point in the year. I actually recommend setting your goals on a random days. We attach a lot to Gen 1, the first of the month, the first of the week, the Mondays, the Sundays, and the New Year's. But I think that when you're ready to commit to a goal, you'll feel it, and that day is important too. So whether you're joining with me on Gen 1 or any other day this year, thank you for being here, and I'm excited to talk with you today. So why this matters so much to me is because there are a lot of things that I want to do. I have a laundry list of things that I want to achieve and things that I want to build, and they're all important to me, and I can get in my own way. I can waste time. I can be unproductive. I can be in too many places at once in my own head to where I'm task switching like crazy and achieving nothing. I can also get stuck in the planning phase. So for me, this exercise is also about leaving the page and doing the work beyond the page. So in order to help me and people like me, I developed a planner last year, and this was the 4th year I was doing bullet planner, and I'm actually no longer doing this planner. It's something that I am leaving in 2023, but I'm really excited to talk to you about what has worked and what and why I'm changing this year, and about what I achieved this year. So the motto for me has been manifest, visualize, and plan. That is like what the planner's for, beyond just an agenda or something that tracks your to-do lists and your appointments. This is something that is meant to be your friend and almost be like another person to help you stick to your goals and do the little tasks that build your big goals. The second motto is that this is where intention meets inspired action. So we're setting meaningful goals and driving inspired action. Okay, some of the things that really worked for me this year were doing journaling alongside my planner, and what I call this is like micro journaling. So asking myself really the key questions. I don't do as much freehand journaling or stream of consciousness journaling. For me, I like to, when I find those really good questions, I like to grab onto them and ask those of myself. So that's kind of how I use this. So at the top of the year, the end of the year, I'll do like a hello and goodbye for the year. This is something that I will continue to do, and I will share these questions with you. The second thing that I'm going to be taking with me is how I track my fitness. That is something that is probably comes up on most people's New Year's resolutions, is to be more fit and more active and have more exercise throughout the year. For me, I think that giving myself the little rewards matter. Like, there definitely have been days where I've like thought about what sticker I'm gonna have or not have. So this is something that I'm gonna keep doing. This has been wildly successful for me, so I'm excited to share it with you. I tracked if I did YogaSculpt, if I was in the gym doing strength training, if I had a cardio workout, or if I did mobility. I actually ran out of stickers in December, so I need to find new colors and fill in some missing ones here. But now I can really see that I can see my consistency. I can also know very clearly what is my weekly average, like what is achievable for me. When you are talking about joining a new fitness regime, they often come across as one size fits all. Do this 5 days a week, do this 6 days a week, do this 3 times a week, but the one that will work is the one that works for you. So once you get your cadence down, you'll know that like 3 times a week is what I want, and I want one of them to be mobility, one to be low impact, and one to be cardio based. So that has really worked for me. What I would do differently is break up my cardio into zone 1 and 2 and zone 3 and 4. So like things like walking and hiking separated from my cycling and my running and sprinting. Currently it's kind of tracked under 1, so I have felt less inclined to mark down the days where I do a long walk because I'm putting it in the same color category as doing a berries class or doing a ride class. Another thing that I'm taking with me from my old planner are my book lists. One thing I'm doing differently this year though is I kind of treated it as like an open page, and then I ran out and I made 4 others. So I have 180 books on my book list, and they're all unorganized. So like when I actually want to pick from my list, I have to read all of them in order to find inspiration. So what I've already done for this year is taken those lists and I use ChatGPT to help me organize them into my categories that I came up with. And then in those categories, you rank them by reviews and ultimately their potential to improve my life or change my life. So I'll show you what that looks like now. My categories are body and mind includes personal development, growth, as well as anything that's philosophy related. I also have the natural world and the human world, so things that fall under science and history and any memoirs I may have. Then I have my categories of, and these may be more specific to me because I have entrepreneurship and design. I want to increase my revenue that I make as a freelance designer, currently from 0 to, I'm hoping, well, I have a goal. So books that can help me grow my business and increase my design skills are 2 categories that are really important to me. Then I have a fiction category, and then I have an uncollected category. So I've brought those books, and now it's a lot easier to find the books that are of interest to me right now. And I still have space to go in, and if I have a recommendation or I see something in a bookstore, I can place it in its category, and I've been really liking this. This project took me most of one day, honestly, reading up on every book, which gave me a chance to remove books that shouldn't have been on my list or that were no longer interesting to me. So that's something that I highly recommend doing. I also do this for movies and TV shows, but you can do that too if you'd like. I do it as well for podcasts and any training courses I'm interested in. Okay. Now we can talk about when you're moving into the new planner, you're going to want to list your goals. So I've talked about what I brought from the old planner into the new planner, and one of those things is all the remaining task lists. So from the front of the book and the back of the book, we've cleared that, we've brought those forward. Now all the inside stuff, the daily pages. And for me, I set up my planner to have the tasks that I collect throughout the month. So these are this is my at a glance, and then my to-do list. But I do the same to-do list for each day, and just at a glance, and then my to-do list. So I went through everything that I had not checked off. This created a huge list of unfiltered and unorganized items, blah items, like overwhelming to look at items. I again organized it down into their like categories, things that stuck together, belong together, and came up with my top 3 goals for the year. The planner that I'm using, which by the way is called Pareto. Pareto is I'm not sure exactly his title, but maybe a philosopher, maybe a productivity thinker. But he's the one who came up with and coined the 80-20 rule. So meaning that for most circumstances and most people, 20% of your effort drives 80% of your results, or rather thought of 80% of your results comes from something that is 20% of your effort. And all the other things are just distractions. So 80% of what you do are distractions, and you can reduce down. So they have it set up 5 goals, and their system mirrors what I do, so I recommend this and I can endorse this method. You have your goal in the SMART method, which means instead of I will exercise more, I want to be more fit. You nail it down to some numbers, something that's specific and achievable to you. So for me, I'm choosing that I want to recomposition. I want to go down 2% in body fat, and I want to go up 5% in muscle mass. So that's why I've structured my workout goal. My fitness and health goal is I want to change my body composition, 2% body fat, 5% muscle mass. I would write that here. I'm going to write that here. And then the second piece that matters is the habits and routines that will help me achieve my goal. So now that I've done my fitness at a glance for the last year, I know that I can do 4 days in the gym, 1 day at home, and then the other 2 days as lower impact lifestyle fitness days, like going to the mall, walking, going outside and walking, doing things like that. So I would put that here, that for me, I'm going to stick to those routines and apply the stickers on the days that I do those things. Also important is by when. So I'm doing my book this year in the seasons. I have a spring, a winter, a summer, and a fall. So I'm going to try to do that by the end of the season. And my motivation for why, you can fill in your answer there. For me, there's a famous expression that movement is medicine. I also think that movement is maintenance. To me, when I hear movement is medicine, I think that means something's wrong and that you are fixing or healing or reaching a new state. But also movement is maintenance. Like, we need it to be at baseline, not just when you're below baseline and needing to rise, but just to live the full human expression, to reach like, there are things in this world that you need to have a physical body to experience. So taking care of your physical home is important for your journey on this planet. I also love how I feel when I feel strong, and how I feel when I look at myself and I am very happy in the results that I'm seeing, the physical, actual tangible results of my hard work. So for me, I'm training for that. I want to look more sculpted. I want to look stronger, and I want to do things. So achieving my handstand this year is one of my tasks. I'm probably going to save that one for the spring chapter. I'm going to keep my goals attainable. Can't achieve them all at once, but I know that, like, that's in my year archetype. Tackling my handstand and my pull-up are going to require a lot of dedication. So I'm not going to set myself up for failure now and put them in when I'm not actually intending to work on them to the degree that they require. But I have these things in the long-term vision. And then you also need to talk about your first actions and your milestones. So that's where you'd record those there too. And once you're there, you're set up for the new year. I've done that in a second way that I'm going to show you in 1 second. But the large unorganized task list that we talked about, I took that and I used the groupings that I created as well as my 3 goals and I structured it in a really important way. I can't forget this. The question that I asked myself when I was setting up my 3 goals are, what would I do if I could not fail? So my 3 goals for what I would do if I could not fail was be a wildly successful freelancer. Why? This would allow me to have time and location freedom and spending freedom. I want to be able to, be financially independent and buy the things that I want that enrich my life. So those are my motivations. And then the things that I'm going to need to do to achieve that is make my first $400 project. Once I check that off, my first $600 project, my first $1,000 project, my first $5,000 project. So these are the things I'm going to check off in order to reach my ultimate goal. And I've placed the first 4 in this first season of winter. My second goal is a wildly successful blog and social media. I've been working on this for some years, but I haven't been putting myself out there enough in order to attract the right people into my life. And part of that comes with this video, actually being online and opening myself up to the opinions and thoughts of other people. I definitely protect myself too much in order to achieve this goal. It's a contradictory feeling inside myself, like to protect versus wanting to be seen and wanting to work with you and know you as well. So that's my second goal. My third are my deep connections with my community, my family, and my friends. And my fourth, it's less of a goal. I have a category for my financial life and admin tasks. So the first three are my goals. The fourth one are those other things and my massive to-do list that I categorize into administrative tasks that keep my life running. So of that big list, I took the actionable steps for my goals and paired those with items on my to-do list. And if the items on my to-do list did not match any of these four things, it's gone. It does not exist anymore. It's not being carried forward into the new year. And how it looks like now. Goal, motivation, and the tasks. So this is really amazing because now I don't just have an unorganized jumbo list of tasks. Same thing with the books. It's the exact same idea. It took the same mental process and the same amount of time. And I cannot recommend doing this enough. This is how I'm going to do my to-do list going forward for each month. My planners have always had spaces to do the same thing for the week. So if anything comes up that is not aligned with these goals but has to get done, I use a different space for that. This is what my week looks like. The Pareto planner is what I chose this year because it uses time blocking method, vertical orientation, that's really important to me, is also dated, which these two things are kind of hard to find together. And then I still do have space for listing goals and tasks as well for the week, as well as for the day. So you can really maximize the arrangement with a planner like this. And even if you're just doing it on paper, it doesn't matter. It's the system behind it, not the actual object. So I now take my to-do list items and say like 3 of them were responding to people. Like I have to remind myself to message back friends even. So whether it's emails for work or messaging friends, I'll put that as for 30 minutes or an hour, message back these people. This was organize my book list and then write in my organized book list. Like that's how I'm organizing my time now. And I'm feeling a lot more intentional about this method versus the just listing that I've done for the past few years. So if anything about this resonated with you or inspired you, I do recommend this planner, and I cannot wait to see what goals you're working towards this year. If you're working on a goal and you're not sure how you're going to achieve it, but it's something that you know you want for yourself, first of all, congratulations. That means it's within your power. You wouldn't have the desire to do something if it wasn't within your capabilities to achieve. There are lack of structural knowledge that can prevent us from going there. There can be personality contraindications that can prevent us. Like for myself, like wanting a wildly successful blog, but also not be willing to put myself out there, not being willing to put my mistakes online, to be authentically seen and all of that, what it means. Or you can be doing things that are self-sabotaging. Let me know and I'll message you back and we'll talk about it. I would love to make 2024 as incredible of a year for you, for me, for as many people as possible. And thank you so much for chatting with me this new year. You can find me at Movement Calling on Instagram and not TikTok. I want to inspire you to have a lifestyle that nourishes your body and your mind. So we do talk a lot about movement, fitness, and yoga, as well as travel. I'm a full-time nomad. I've visited 14 countries this year and hopefully have no sign of stopping. So I'm as well of sharing travel tips and guide information. I'm also merging these two things. What does it mean to my fitness journey to be taking that on the road so often? Every single country I have a different routine. In Croatia we're doing midday swims. In places that have hiking we're hiking, and places that have like a much more gym culture we're doing that. So like it's the continuity of the practice despite all these variables, as well as on my blog where I go deeper into these topics. And if you join my newsletter, you'll get these emails once a week of the latest topics. And yes, I can't wait to see you online and in person. Thank you so much for joining me.